how whenever you change the dimensions of a figure by some scale factor, what that does to the overall area and the overall perimeter of the figure. So on number 1, they tell you that they want you to draw and label rectangle ABCD that has the dimensions of 3 units by 5 units. So inside of here on this coordinate grid, I'm going to draw a 3 by 5 rectangle. Okay, so it's 3 by 5. Okay, it says using the same grid, they want you to draw and label a rectangle WXYZ with sides that are triple the length of the rectangle ABCD. Well, if I triple this side right here that was 3, what is it now? 9. If I triple the side that was 5, what is it now? So I'm going to now draw a 9 by 15 rectangle. Okay, so I have my 2 rectangles drawn. We're now going to answer these questions over here, or fill in these blanks over here. So first they ask, what would be the perimeter of our first rectangle ABCD? So, perimeter of ABCD, what would that end up being? 16, right? Because if this side is 5, so is the one on top, which gives me 10. 3 on each end is a total of 16. So my perimeter is 16. They then ask what would be the perimeter of our larger rectangle WXYZ. What did we say? 30. Not 38. 48. Okay. They then ask what is the scale factor or the similarity ratio between those 2 items. So it would be 48 to our 16, which is actually going to simplify down to what? 3 to 1. Very good. Which makes sense because that is the scale that we increased our side lengths by, right? Okay. They then ask what is the, they ask what is the ratio of the perimeters, sorry. This one would just have been 3 to 1. The one below is the 48 one. Sorry, guys. Didn't read the lines. Very good. 48 to 16, which is 3 to 1 when you simplify. Alright, they then ask us what is the area of our first rectangle ABCD. Alright, so area of that first rectangle, the 3 by 5, would be 15. Then they ask what's the area of the larger rectangle that was a 9 by 15. 135. Very good. Alright, so now they ask for the scale factor or similarity ratio, which again would be 3 to 1, because that's what we increased our side lengths by. But the ratio of the area is 135 to 15. And what is 135 to 15 going to simplify to? What would we say? 9 to 1. Okay. That makes sense because area is measured in square units, while perimeter is measured in just our regular units, right? So if I was to square our change, that would make sense, right? Okay, so they said, how does the ratio of the perimeters relate to the scale factor? So our ratio of the perimeters and our scale factor, what were they? 3 to 1. So they were the same. So perimeter ratio and scale factor are the same. Okay. They then ask, how does the ratio of the areas relate to your scale factor? Square. Very good. The area ratio is the square of the scale factor. Now we're going to look at one more example. This time it says to draw and label rectangle ABCD that has dimensions of 6 by 12. So I'm going to draw a 6 by 12 rectangle here. Alright. And then it says, using that same grid, draw and label a rectangle WXYZ that has sides that are 1/3 of the length of the original. So this time instead of increasing in size, they're decreasing in size. So what is 1/3 of 6? 2. So now my side length is 2 units. And what is 1/3 of 12? 4. So it has a length of 4. So we have a 2 by 4 now. Okay, now we're going to answer the same questions as before. So first, what's the perimeter of the first rectangle, ABCD? Very good. And what's the perimeter of our second rectangle? Very good. Okay, and what would be our scale factor or similarity ratio here? 1 to 3. Very good. Okay, and then for our ratio of the perimeters, our ratio would be 12 to 36, which is going to simplify to, very good. All right, then they ask what would be the area of our first rectangle? 72. And what would be the area of our second rectangle? 8. Very good. And again, what's the scale factor? 1 to 3. But then they want the ratio of the areas. So that would be 8 to 72. And 8 to 72 simplifies to 1 to 9. Okay, and then it asks the exact same questions as last time. How did the ratio of the perimeter relate to the scale factor? They're the same. Very good. So perimeter ratio and scale factor are the same. While the ratio of the area compared to the scale factor was what? The square. Very good. They want us to make a conjecture about what we figured out here. So they're saying if your scale factor is any ratio of A over B, those could be any numbers, okay, then your perimeter ratio would also be what? over B. Very good. This could also be written as A to B. Okay, and then that would make our area ratio what? A squared over B squared. Very good. You also could write this as A squared to B squared. Okay, so if maybe they just give you the scale factor and they ask what would be the area ratio, you don't actually have to draw it out and find the areas. All you need to do is square top and bottom of your ratio. Right?